Hello and welcome everyone to League of Europe Formula One Division 4 here at Monaco. So we're in for quite an entertaining round here. I'm QVR Verstappen. Again, QVR Packer being absent due to whatever he's doing. So for a second week in a row, we have QVR Chill filling in here.
Hello. Yeah, unfortunately, back again. If Packer's getting sick pay and there's something going on here, I'm not getting paid to do any of this. There will be issues, so I might not be around much longer if I find anything on that. But I'm here for now.
And we're glad about that. We'll see if we can sort out the financial situation there at some point, and hopefully we can get that all sorted. Um, yeah, going in here, round 5 already of the season, and it is quite close up front. We're just waiting for the last few to go in, and I think they're ready. Upsign has been given. Last time out we saw Polopus taking a dominant victory out in Abu Dhabi. And he's now leading the championship with 65 points ahead of Jordan, who's on 61. Excuse me, so 4 points difference there, and then it's iConnect who got 50 points, so he's a little ways back after a penalty as well post race. And beyond that, I mean, there's a bit of a gap there to Maverick with 43 points, but he's not here tonight, so. It's mainly those top 3 I think we're looking at, and I think qualifying will be very important around here.
Yeah, looking very, very tight in the standings, as you say. I don't know if it's the same in D1, but across D3 and D4, it's looking very tight between the two in this second season on this game, just as people get used to it a bit more, I suppose, and everyone's just a little bit closer, the setups. But it's shaping out to make a nice championship battle.
Definitely is, and yeah, Division 1 after Monaco. Obviously, I've already done the standings, which can be set, at Campbell in the past. So, but yeah, there's 6 points between the top 3 there. So that's quite a battle already. And then in Division 2 as well, we have about 12 points currently, which should be getting on the way soon. I've seen there was a restart because of the wrong timing. As we'll see in a little bit, we have midnight conditions. Just a bit of tradition we've always been doing since it was an option in the game, and is kept and stayed around as I have 18 minutes to qualify, and it'll be very interesting to see who can actually navigate this track properly without hitting any walls, which I think will be the biggest challenge of them all.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see that there, but what I presume is supposed to be national flags hanging up just by the pit lane there are all black flags. So I don't know if that's sort of a bad omen as to what's going to happen with some of these drivers in this race. But yeah, another issue for Cody's. Not a new one.
You'd love to see it as first cars making their way out on track. And yeah, I don't know where you've seen that. Couldn't really find it at any point. We see a Red Bull already being energetics. I don't know if he went round, but there was a yellow flag for him standing still at some point. So that was a bit unfortunate to see. Yeah, especially for traffic, this is a track that could really be very difficult. Especially in qualifying, we're trying to get out of the way to the lap. But also in the race, where if you make the wrong pit stop call and you end up behind someone, there's a very good chance you're going to lose loads of time. So we'll have to see how that's going to pan out. I think we're waiting for Robert, who's the first one out on track and just making his way down towards the back in the swimming pool section here. There's those iconic images from Ayrton Senna back in the 1980s and 1990s as well. But now going for the final corner, which is a very difficult corner, this game especially. Open up the DRS, that's Romania. And let's see, he's going to start his lap down towards Standevo. Braking is quite difficult there. Getting it turned in quite nicely though. And now we're going to go up the hill and down towards this long sweeping left-hander into the right-hander here as well. This is a very difficult part, a lot of bumps here. See a Ferrari up ahead, hopefully doesn't get in the way. And now down towards the Grand Hotel hairpin, or the Lowe's hairpin, as most people will know it. Now down towards Porsche, very important exit here, because this might be the only opportunity you might get at overtaking anyone. this tunnel section down towards the Novo chicane is maybe the only opportunity, apart from turn 1. Robert's navigating it quite decently here, has to be said. Now down into the back, flicking it in, and flat out through these left and right handers down to the chicane here. Can be very easy to be caught out there and out for Raskas. And now down towards the final corner. Let's see, this has been a very solid lap, has to be said, I think. We'll see what the lap time will be for the Romanian. At least a clean lap, 1:11.8, and I don't think he can complain too much about that.
No, that's not too bad at all. I think D3 we saw quite a few mid-11 bankers, so really not too far off to start with, so it's looking good.
Yeah, he's 9 tenths ahead of Marcy, who slots in P2. Energetics barely ahead of that. So this looks like a very solid lap to start off with. So we see California coming up to the line as well, across the line, 2,000 behind Marcy, so more and more times coming in, and the more it's looking like Roberts has done a great lap to start off with, at least. Old school of 1:13.2. I think he was just talking to get this sorted, this whip as well, so well done with him with that. But so iConnect actually puts it on professional pole.
Yeah, Monaco's one of those tracks where you will tend to see 2 or 3 people just almost be a cut above everyone else in quali, though saying that, that's 3 people on 11.8 now, so it's punching up.
Yeah, the both of the Mercedes is slotting in 2nd and 3rd, as we have Polopus, who dominated out last week, slotting himself into 1st place with an 11.5. Let's see if his banker this time will be enough for pole, but it does look like it's a bit closer this time out, so it might be a bit less likely. But that's definitely a good sign from him right there. So Stepan gets a 23.9 in, and he is going to go on the way for another lap.
Trying to find some controls in the lap here. I think Sweat looks like he's on a quick one, coming through swing perfection. Coming up to the final few corners now, yellow flags against an Alpha going a bit slowly. Gets out of the way nicely around the final corner. Very tricky on traction, that exit. Going to the line now. It's not going to be particularly quick, but it's going to be a time on the board.
It is a time on the board, and I think that's kind of what we're used to from Swip, just getting those times in. Not too much fuss about it, but yeah, hopefully he can improve and gain a spot or two later on. Gonna ride on board with Steban as he went for another run. As Marcy's actually retired, coming towards the end of sector 1 there. You have to excuse my corner names, I'll look him up in a bit so I can help that a bit. 53.5 is not too bad, I think. And hopping over the chicane there. Let's see, now down towards Raskas. Very easy to put in a wall as Steban does do that. Continues on his lap. So if he can keep enough speed, there is still maybe a sort of decent time in, but doesn't look like that. 12.6, but hitting that wall quite harshly. You'd think there's a lot of time still on that.
Yeah, going back to Marcy crashed out, that's exactly the same place I did in quali after my one banker. It's so easy just to turn in a little bit early, and that wall will just shred off your front right tyre.
Yeah, and especially because, you know, the turning point is very, very peculiar. You have to, you basically get over a bump, and then you have to turn in right away and to not hit the wall if you want to take any sort of speed for it. So it's very easy to do that and just mess up, go a bit too early or a bit too late as well, and just hit it on the outside. Don't quite know who's on that. Serial Killer coming across the line, 113.1 as Ghost Recon makes it a second Ghost appearance here. He'll be taking his Williams now, but I don't think he's permitted to set a lap in qualifying, so he might have to start from the back. Just looking around if there's anyone on the lap currently, but it looks like a bit of a dry spell.
Yeah, I can't see anyone. Ghost is 2 temps up, Ghost 72 that is, but he's got no ERS left.
Yeah, ERS is very difficult to regain here, as he does make his way down towards Porsche and into the tunnel section. See a beautiful view from his rear end. It's obviously not a lot of braking zones and a lot of full throttle. As weird as that sounds, the braking zones aren't too heavy around here, so you don't regenerate any sort of ERS, so a second lap is very difficult to actually get enough ERS for. He is still up in his time though, as he navigates his way through down towards Raskas, and it should be a decent improvement. Anthony Noja coming through there now, and ERS is open for the only time on this lap, and a 112.8, 8,000 improvement. I guess it's an improvement, but yeah, won't bring him any further up. So a few people just starting a lap because Recon open in his Williams there. And yeah, that makes it 18 drivers for now. I believe we're supposed to be having 19, but yeah, Ash is not turned up so far. So that's always a shame to see. I think we got a catch on board with Robert here who's on the lap.
Yeah, looks very clean. Purple, middle sector.
Yeah, 10th and a half up. This could be a good one if he nails that final sector. From through there now towards Raskas, second gear, and now shifting it up to third. Looks like automatic gears actually for him, but coming down towards the line. Let's see, can he improve? 111.5. Yes, he can. Puts it on provisional pole. 17,000 difference only. And Polifus is just about to start his lap, so we'll have to see what he can do. And one of the Alpines, I think, is finishing their laps. That might just be Ghost coming back towards the pits, however. California, I saw starting a lap earlier, and he's coming towards the end of it now. So let's see. 112.7 he has. Maybe he can improve on that this time out. 112.4 gets him up at P6.
Yeah, we're at that point of quality now where everyone's almost on different parts of their run strategy. You have people coming out the pits for their out laps or people on their hot laps, and the way the pit is on this track. Yep.
Yeah. Makes the top three within 21 thousandths of each other. That has to be said for a track that's usually known for having quite a few gaps in league racing. That's very good to see, obviously. And that should make for a very exciting end of the qualifying session. And Jetix just starting his lap. And it just moving through. So the old school, I think, on the end of his lap. Maybe he can get close to his teammates. Into P6, not too bad, has to be said. And 112.4 puts him just ahead of California there. And that is a very decent time, but it still has quite a bit of a gap towards the top end, which is maybe to be expected, as iConX put himself into pole position.
Yeah, I was watching him for a good part of that lap. He had a massive slide coming out of the chicane just after the tunnel, so I'd suspect there's at least another couple tenths in that lap for him.
His teammate, I think, in behind just starting the lap is like caught on with old school, sitting in neutral on the hairpin. Not too sure what that was about. Maybe just letting some through, maybe just went straight on for a little bit. I'm not too sure, I have to be honest there. But that's a bit peculiar. Just trying to catch on with anyone on the lap at the moment. Polifus, I don't think he's managed to improve because he's already out of ERS, which says to me that he's on a second lap. So we saw him quite a while ago starting his lap, obviously. So I think he must have either invalidated or messed up his first run, and that is not ideal for him. Energetics is invalid on his lap, so is Jav, who's gone into the pits. And I'm just trying to catch on with anybody here. Serial Killer is...
Serial Killer, yeah. Yeah,
he's up this time. Down towards Raskas, let's see. Can he improve currently in P12? He's expecting... Can he go into the 1 minute 12s here? The Indian across the line. 1 minute 11s even. P6 for him. Not bad at all. Someone who we usually don't honestly see that near the top, as he just gets beaten out by Steban there with a 1 minute 11.8. But very impressive there from Serial Killer. Someone who we usually are not used to seeing near the top, and still putting in a decent time.
Yeah, Monaco is just one of those tracks where you'll see certain people just have a knack for it, and they'll just be able to put in lap times that are so competitive they might not be able to do other tracks. But over the course of this calendar, with the tracks that were voted out from last season having, for whatever reason, be put onto this calendar, a lot of those tracks are ones where you will see people have a certain skill set for it that they might not at every other track.
Yeah, it's definitely, this is one of them. I think we've had Suzuka as well. That's another one that you usually see some different people coming out on top, and I think it does make it a little bit more exciting. a bit less predictable, so those skill sets can come up towards the front as well. Eagles Matt is just about to start a lap. I think it's time we ride on board of him. He's coming down towards Sandoval. Very nicely done actually, breaking quite deep into it, but still seems to get a decent run through Beaurivage and now through Massenet. The long left here, and yeah, as you can see, just dipped down towards there, and then you have a little bit of bump on the exit as well. Let's see, he's 12 fences up, so still a decentish time for the Mercedes. And now through the hairpin here, as he just went through Mirabeau Old and now through Miro Bass into Porsche, which, as I said earlier, is a very important exit, shifting up to 4th gear quite early. And now coming through the tunnel section into the Novo chicane. You want to kind of try to take this yellow curb on the right hand side, as Mats does quite nicely, because that's a little bit wide though, to take a little bit less speed there through the rest of the section. Through to back now, 27 fouls up, it says it's purple, I don't know if it is, but let's see, maybe down towards the finals chicane. And for the final sector, let's see if we can improve there for Raskas, Anthony Noje. And this final little king classified as turn 19 there. DRS is open for the Mercedes. Can he pip someone? He does improve, but it doesn't improve his position quite. So he's second P5 for now. He might still just about have enough time to come back in and get another set out if he wants to, as Jav has retired from the session in the pits, so both Williams are on the back row here, behind Ibo, who will be at least in P16.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'd rather start right at the back than be in the midfield for the start of Monaco, because at least then you can go at your own pace, just carve your way through the people who fall off here and there. If you're in the midfield, you're in the middle of everything, you might not even have time to react to stuff going on around you.
Yeah, I definitely get that approach. Like if you're around P8, P9, there's a lot of things going on both in front of you and behind you. And if you then maybe don't have the pace to get right up near the front, you might be able to choose to get at the back. Just take it easy into turn 1 and make sure you don't quite mess up. And well, it goes recon after it because he joined late. But I think in Jav's case, maybe not being able to set a lap and just thinking this might be the better option for it. Just looking around, I think Ghost 70 UK did improve on his time, 12.2 into P8, couple turns behind his teammate. Just looking around, the first few guys starting their last runs potentially. And I think Poltopus and Robertson are very close to each other on track here actually. So we can compare quite nicely what their times is. 18.9 in the first sector for Poltopus. And I couldn't quite catch it for Robertson as it shifted the wrong way, but it looks like Robertson is catching him. And Poltopus is having a few issues with this little section. So this could be very interesting towards the line if this keeps on going. Mass is retired in the pits, so he is happy enough with his 11.6. Let's see now towards the Novo chicane. This is going to be very interesting if they can navigate their way through here quite nicely. Just like that Poltopus has that chicane a bit better sorted. Let's see, 52.9 to 52.8. So very close together. The final sector is going to depend on it, and can they actually beat out Iconex as they're both less than a tenth up on their time. The time is in the final sector, and let's see the Belgian accelerating out of the final corner and comes across the line. 11.4 2.2, and Robertson, I don't think has improved. 11.560, so he must have made a mistake or something in the final sector, or just not had the greatest of it. But that puts Poltopus just about ahead of Iconex, who will be looking to improve himself.
Yeah, Iconex was slightly down coming out of the first sector. So let's see what he's done in the middle here, but he's going to need to find a little bit of time to make up for that. He's 3 tenths up going through the middle because he had that slide coming out the chicane, so it's looking like a big improvement. Could see a 1 minute 10 potentially.
Let's see, coming for Raskas, there's a few cars ahead. You all know setting their lap times as well. I think just Jess coming up there and Jamie Met going into P11, but Iconex across the line. 1.11.2, not quite a 1.10, but still a very, very good time. And there's going to be some miracle, I think, has to happen for that to be beaten. He knows that anyone can pull out, and Agietics is just about to start a lap, so he's not going to do it. Jordan is coming towards the end of the lap. He's at 10th up, so you need to find a lot of time in that final sector. Let's see if he can do it across the line. 1.11.1, he does do it! Great lap from the Scotsman there, and he puts it up ahead of his fellow Scotsman. And that makes it for Scottish front row so far. As Old School is just about to start his lap as well. Potipus, I think, is going again, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he has quite the ERS for it to actually improve, so keep an eye on it. But don't think there's going to be much happening there. California just starting a lap, and I think we're about to close out the section, as we have just the yellow flags there in front of the timer. But yes, it is checkered flag now, and Jess will be the first one setting her time.
Going on board with Old School, he looked very cautious with his gears through towards the end of the first sector. Let's see what he does coming down to the chicane here. Just about gets the apex, done that very nicely actually. Good exit. Taps the wall twice, that's a much bigger
To
tap on
interrupt
exit.
you there, sorry, but Energetics is a second up on his time. So I'm just gonna go and see what he does. He gets himself into B4. Very solid time, and I think it's now time to go on to Old School. So you can eagerly waiting for that one. DRS.
Still 3 tenths up.
See, it doesn't look like in the final sector he's managed to improve, and I think that's going to be it for him. California is the only one left on the lap, and he is about a tenth down on what Energetics was, so through the second sector split. So if his final sector is decent, he can get himself among the top 5 here. The Red Bull maybe lost a little bit of time and goes into P8, so that ended up being quite an exciting qualifying session. Jordan taking pole is something I did not expect, I've got to be honest.
No, a lot more competitive at the top than I thought it'd be after seeing what happened in D3. But yeah, I think that's like the top 6 really had a shot at potentially going for pole at points in that.
Yeah, quite a few very quick guys, and someone on a pad as well on P1. That's not something you see any day at Monaco. But Jordan taking it ahead of Iconex, and Polypus and Energetics make for Lowlands second row. Then it's Robert in P5, very impressive early on, couldn't quite improve enough. Mats in P6, Steban in P7, then California in P8 with Serial Killer in P9 and Ghost 70 UK in P10. Old School is in P11, place where he said he wouldn't want to be, so quite interesting. Jamie Metz, Marcy, Jess, Sweb, Ibo, and then it's Ghost, Recon, and Jav rounding out the 18 car grid for today. And I think we could be in for a very decent race. Let's see how that is going to be going on to the race. If it's dry as well, it could be raining, of course. Who knows? We'll have to see about that though. But, yeah, for overtaking, I think it's gonna have to be usually during the pit stops anyway. So we'll have to see how that goes on. It does look dry there, so we're having a beautiful look at the pit lane here. Fortunately, can't
you see those black flags now?
Oh yeah, I see it. I see what you mean. Yeah, they're on the right hand side above the grandstand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. I've never noticed that before. We also see on the left hand side a little sign promoting not smoking there in the pit lane, which is probably a good idea given the fuel. So, not surprised by that.
Yeah.
As we just counting down the way. I'm curious what sort of tires we'll be seeing, because you can make anything kind of work. I think towards the front you see maybe a few more mediums, towards the back end a few more hards, and I doubt if we see any softs. There's a few guys on the mediums, majority on the hards though. And this calls for an Iconex really good start here, because otherwise I don't see how he's going to make those mediums work properly, unless he gets a really good undercut. Robertson in P5 on the mediums with California Serial Killer as well on 8th and 9th. And then Marcy and Swip a bit further down on the mediums as well. The rest all on the hardest compound. And yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how this is going to unfold. Iconex, I think ideally he'd want to just get Jordan off the line. And on the better tire that might be possible.
Yeah, the mediums off the start, you kind of need to get the most of them on that first lap, or maybe 2 laps, before the hards really start to settle in, and then they can just sort of make slight adjustments to their line and keep you behind. And at that point, you might as well just come in a bit early and try and get the undercut, which seems really powerful around here.
Yeah, I think the medium hard strategy is what we will be seeing, barring any damage, obviously. which is something we will be seeing at some point as well. I'd be very surprised if no one gets any damage. In that case, though, I think Iconix, we'll see him come around lap 11, 12 is usually the first few laps where he'd maybe pit, maybe a bit earlier, maybe a bit later, who knows. And the Hertz will be going, I think, somewhere in the 20s. Is where they want to pit towards the medium, so we'll have to see. And just line up towards the grid here. Gonna ask you for a top 3 prediction here.
Ooh, I think Iconix is going to get a good start here. I think he's going to lead for the starting phase and hold on to it. And I'm going to say Pole to post second, Jordan third.
Well, let's see if that is the actual prediction. So we don't have the best side here, but we'll go as the 5 red lights are on. And out and away we go. And let's see who has the best start. Iconix does get alongside there, Jordan. Let's see, side by side they head down towards Sandoval, cleanly through to one. Little bit of contact on the exit, but Iconix does take the lead there in the Ferrari, and he is up into P1. Jordan in P2, and then Energetics had a very good start as well in behind. In P4 actually. It was one of the ripples I saw going alongside. Bit of action here towards the midfield as well. So you see Robert looking for a move, but they're all filing out into one straight line as Zero Killer and California still side by side through that little bit down towards, as we see a few cars running into each other and getting a bit of damage. It goes where you can get a 5-second penalty for a collision with Old School there, and that is going to cost Ghost Recon. Let's hope Old School didn't get any damage from that. I have to say that Iconix is a 1.2 seconds late, and he is looking out to go away and stretch his legs.
Yeah, that's the thing with starting mediums. If you can get a gap and then have that gap in turn to drop into when you pit onto the hard, you can really build up some time between you and the car behind, and they've really then got to push on their mediums at the end to catch up to you.
Yeah, definitely. A bit of a gap between Pulpos and Energetics already as well. Saw one of the ripples, I think it was California, who got a good start but decided to maybe back out of it, so Iconix predictably sets the fast lap of the race. So that's where I got a little bit confused with them. Let's see who goes in for damage. I think it's just Jess at this point. But I did see definitely Marcy picking up some damage running in the back of another car in the hotel section. So he might yeah, not be too quick right now. Steban is holding up a little bit of a train here as well. I'm not too sure. Steban might have damage as well. Not visible at least, but doesn't look very comfortable right now on the hardest set of compounds, and that is not too great to see, as Jav already has a 3-second time penalty here.
Yeah, I mean, more than anything, this is a flow track. If you can get into your flow, it doesn't matter if you're not the quickest, but if you can just be consistent while others around you are just making little mistakes here and there, that's what really counts around here. So we'll see. Oh, it's Old School and Ghost Recon. I don't know what happened there, but Old School had to cut the chicane as Ghost Recon was down the inside. I don't know if Ghost Recon went late on the brakes and sort of cut off the inside for Old School or what really, but he's got a penalty.
Yeah, and especially if those trains do form at some point, those penalties are not going to be too fun. So DRS is enabled for this one little straight that it is possible to overtake at. Essentially, as Ghost Recon is putting Zero Killers on the back of his teammate, basically, on the mediums. Looking for a move, but you know, it's still Monaco at the end of the day. It's going to be very difficult to make one stick. Ghost UK is defending the inside there, coming from Massenet. And he's going to hold on for now there. He does let his teammate by there, actually. So, Zero Killer's up into P9, and whether that's communicative or not, as he goes very deep, actually, into the hairpin there. Scared me a little bit, caught me a bit off guard. But that might be a bit of teamwork there from the Alpines, and try and let Zero Killer maybe attack the guys in front, although that won't be too easy to do, as Steven is currently the one not too quick, and Robertson is DNF'd. Yeah. Coming through the Novo chicane. Must have turned in too early and then just hit the tire barrier. That's the only thing I can think of resulting in that position. You've seen it again from Jav's POV. Yeah, he's just out there. There's a bit of a scare there, probably for the Spaniards as well. But that's unfortunate to see. He had a very good qualifying. Maybe not made the best of it, but still was on P6, and yeah, it's unfortunate to see him go that early. So we're heading on to lap 4.
Yeah, it looks like Serial Killer's on the back of California and Steven here. California himself looks to be a bit stuck behind Steven on those mediums, so whether or not Serial Killer's going to try and push his way past California to have a go himself, or if he's just going to sit back and see what happens. But they are losing time stuck behind a Ferrari at the moment for the top 5.
Yeah, and let's see if they actually attempt any overtakes, because you know how difficult it is. There's Serial Killer just run into the back of California there.
Damage.
Yeah, there must have been some sort of damage. I can't imagine that not being. Yeah, the left end plate I think is gone for the Indian there. We can confirm his Jav is retired as well, coming through Mirabeau, and that makes our second retirement already. And yeah, just the same thing Alonso basically in real life, going straight on there, and yeah, idolizes idol, I guess. Is into the wall.
Alpine's not swapping places here, so I'll have to go let Serial Killer through to have a go at those guys. He's not repaying a favour with the damage.
That's been unfortunate to see, but yeah, maybe he goes into the pit. No, he doesn't.
No.
He's staying out. Maybe just thinking, well, Monaco can keep people behind. I don't think Go 70 UK will be very happy with this, though.
No, probably not, especially after the favour he pulled earlier on.
Very interesting dynamic here, and let's see if Go UK is actually going to be bothered by this. He is on the hard, so Serial Killer goes deep there and is letting him through this time out. No, he's not. He's keeping it on the inside. Has to back out there though. Yeah, for the constructors, it's maybe not the best idea. Has to be said, but you know what? It's his idea, I guess, and can't fault them for that. And Go 70 UK might be able to catch back up now towards Esteban and California, as I see Swip going straight on at turn 1. Don't think there's any damage. Might have taken the escape route and backed out again, which allowed him to keep going. Marcy getting a 3-second time penalty there, and yeah, let's see, he does still have damage. As I see Serial Killer hitting the wall again, there must be more damage for the Alpine there. Let's see, Marcy does have damage as well, tries to get alongside, can't quite manage it. Let's see, Serial Killer is now actually into the pits, and should replace that from wing, use Imagine. Goes into another set of mediums here actually. Yeah, the front wing is getting replaced, and he's gonna drop back quite a ways there.
Looks like the only real rounds at the moment are the P2, P6, and that's about it really.
Yeah, Mats is kind of close to Energetics as well.
Oh yeah.
But
with the penalty.
That, yeah, he does have a penalty, but obviously with that penalty you'd want to maybe try and get past. It's very difficult to do, like, don't get me wrong, it's not very easy to get your car alongside, especially with these wider cars of the new generation. It's just so difficult to get your car alongside. Usually Rascats would be kind of his fault now, but now with how wide the cars are, that's getting more difficult, and every day really, every time you're around here. And Energetics and Mats are actually catching up to this, so we're gonna have a bit of a 4-car train here in a little bit. Who won't mind this Zyconnect, who's 7 seconds out in the lead, just heading on to lap 7, so he is really comfortable out here in front, and I don't think he'll be minding that Jordan might not look the quickest, but it's just keeping it consistent for now. Yellow flags here, and Raskas, I think it's old school, who's maybe had a bit of an oopsie, no damage visible at least, so can carry on for now, but stays in P11 for now.
Yeah, the way that the track's laid out, you do a lot of naturally just switching from left to right on the racing line, especially towards braking zones. So going through the tunnel here, for example, you're on the left, and then you go straight to the right with this little apex. And it makes it really difficult to go side by side to line up a move, because you're just going to get cut off essentially, but it's perfectly legal because it's just the way the track is.
Yeah, the only place where you can really do it is down towards turn 1, really. That's where you can sort of get alongside and get there. And obviously when someone else makes a mistake, there's a possibility of it for it as well. Looking for P6 as well.
Ooh,
Steven is still
talking of mistakes, Holder
Oh,
pose has
Bulbos.
lost it.
And Energetics is using the Earth to try and get alongside, but knowing Energetics, I don't think he's going to be sending him one down the inside. He's just keeping it steady, but that is the sort of moment that you need to wait for. Didn't quite catch it, has to be honest, but that's the sort of moment you have to wait for and try and capitalize on. And try and get through. Serial Killer getting a time penalty, 3 seconds there, as Ibo is in the wall? Potentially, or just letting it through? Yeah, in the wall. Damage there from wing, completely gone for the AlphaTauri. And he's going to have to pit to get that replaced. As iConnect is almost lapping Swip already here. This just shows sort of pace and almost skill difference here. This track usually offers.
Holder pose straight back within a second of Jordan though, even after that little mistake he had coming out of the final. Very easy to do, just to get on the power a little too early through there and lose the rear end. Covered it well, but he's shown really good pace on this lap to get back within a second.
But then the issue is, where are you going to pass? Because obviously it does look like the quicker one out of this little group. Maybe Mats as well. He's been kind of consistently on the back of Energetics, so you're not going to be very close to someone unless you're quite quick as well. The Polipus looks like the quickest one out of these four. You're going to have to do it in the pit stop, surely, because otherwise you're not going to get through without a mistake of, the guy ahead of you. And it'd be very interesting to see if he's going to try and undercut overcuts. But usually you'd want to go for the undercut here. You just get the track position and hope the tires make it, I guess. Let's see, California's on the back of Steban here. Very close down towards Mariba, but can't quite get himself alongside through this part of the track.
Yeah, speaking of undercuts, iConnect now, it looks like if he were to pit, he'd come out just ahead of Steven in P6. So he'd have a lot of clean air to drop into and really push up to the back of these four if they do start fighting a little bit.
I do wonder, Steven still has 100% ERS, and I said earlier how difficult it is to actually maintain that. Is there kind of a possibility here that, they're in a party together? I'm pretty sure they are. And that for that reason, Steban is maybe not driving at absolute pace, just to try and create a bit of a gap for iConnect to fall into, so he doesn't get caught up in traffic when he pits.
Yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense. It'd be perfect team play from the Ferraris there. Because, yeah, he has got a massive gap up to P5, which is just perfect for iConnect to slot into, coming off those mediums, and just get even more time off Jordan, the cars behind him, with the undercut. Yeah,
I think that must be the plan of it, and as long as that little group as Mats is actually retired there.
Yeah.
We're gonna see what happens when we cut on with Steban here. That's maybe the same thing Jav has done there, potentially.
Just gone late.
Yeah, just late on the brakes. Looks to be in the wall there, and yeah, that's the race over for the Mercedes. Serial Killer's retired in the pits, so that means there's only 14 drivers left already here, and if you beat 2 people, you get points. So. Don't see any quitters from that point onwards you'd expect. But yeah, I think the Ferraris are doing a bit of teamwork here and trying to help themselves. And obviously that's going to help because there's another car out of the way. And as long as that little group from Jordan to Energetic, those 3 cars, they stay together, and there's not going to be big gaps created between them and iConnect when he does pit. I think iConnect can't lose this unless he makes a mistake himself.
Yeah, starting on the mediums is definitely the right call. I mean, having the outside line for turn 1 on the better compound is almost guaranteed that he'd get the run up the hill, so it's worked out perfectly for him so far.
Yeah, it definitely has. You have to wonder, like, if he doesn't get Jordan off the start here, it's a whole different story, because he might have still been behind him, and then it's a lot more difficult to make that strategy work, even though you might still get an undercut on that point, but you will not be able to pull the gap and maybe do this teamwork that the Ferraris are doing right now, even though the gap from Energetics to Steban is also 14 seconds, so there's a lot of questions to be asked, but I think for now this strategy has worked out well for iConnect. Let's see how much of a gap he's going to try and create. Is he going to try and go that far that he can just undercut and keep ahead of Jordan? Because Stavi, one master of the strategy, has to be set.
I'm not sure if he's going to have the time to do it. He's got 11 seconds now, 12 laps in. He'll only go about 15, 16 laps at relatively decent pace, so I don't think he's going to stay ahead of Jordan and Energetics really, but he could be close on the back of them immediately.
True. Energetics in the meantime kind of dropping off of his low grip, 2 seconds behind Polybus currently. Not sure if he has any damage from this, just maybe not pushing at the fullest. I'm not too sure what he's up to currently, but made a mistake or whatever. But yeah, he has a little bit of time to catch back up to. And in the meantime, Jordan and Polybus are just keeping it consistent here. They're placing the lap car of Swit in just a second. California is almost alongside Steban here, and it is very difficult for the Repo here to get alongside and actually make a move. This is just showing what it is, because California's on the better tire, probably, I don't know if he has the better pace, but he's looking quicker. I don't know how much Steban is obviously pushing, but then it is no worthy that he still can't even attempt to move, basically.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing a fantastic job for his teammate, and the fact that it's Monaco, he's still holding on to a P5 here himself while doing all of this work for his teammate, so it's looking very good for Ferrari.
And the only person he might lose out to in a pit stop potentially is California. So
I don't know if he's cracking under the pressure a little bit now, the car's behind, but he went a little bit deep into the final few corners there.
Yeah, potentially.
Ooh,
gap.
Almost lost it.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe getting a bit of pressure on his back. If California can actually go for a move, but yeah, there's no way you're gonna get your car alongside here. I think he's not close enough to do anything here, and has to stick in behind for now, a third of the way through. And yes, Iconex still out in the lead, 12 seconds. He's gaining. He's gained across the race almost a lap per second per lap, as we said. The mediums are quicker than the hards, but they're not that much quicker, and I think Iconex's pace is just that good currently.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised he's still finding time on them, to be honest, because at this point, my mediums at least, they were completely gone for about like 14, 15, so we'll see if he kind of holds it around 12 seconds, which I'd expect to be the case, or if he just continues to pull that gap further.
It seems as if he pulls the time in the last sector mostly. Because for this first sector, Jordan seems actually quite equal to Iconex, maybe losing a slight bit of time actually there. We have actually a pitter here, Marcy's in. Let's see, he did have damage. Is he going to be replacing this? It does look like they're out with a front wing in Alfa Romeo, as there's a bit of a yellow flag there. I think that's just Ibo letting goes recon through as a laps car. And Marcy going onto another set of mediums is very peculiar.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what he's trying to achieve. As we said as well, I've not mentioned before, the safety car is kind of glitched here. I don't expect it to come out. Who knows, the game might surprise us, but see Marcy actually weaving here on the straight to warm up the tyres. Now on any other track I say that's a good idea, but it is still Monaco here, and as we said, well credit for keeping out of the wall there. So, you know what, fair enough to the guy. Goes UK is onto the back of California this time. It looks like California can't quite pressure Steban as much anymore on those mediums. Steban now is 19 seconds behind Energetics, and I don't think he needs to hold up anymore. As California does actually go into the pits. As I say, he's struggling on his tires. He goes onto the hards, which is, you know, the usual strategy here. Pit stop doesn't look too clean. I found it actually in the pit lane. It's quite difficult to actually get the purple timing around here. It looks like it is a little further off. So I on my pit stop in my race in D1 I only got green. So does end up behind Goes Recon, and that might help Steban and Goes UK here a little bit.
Yeah, Steban's really got to start pushing now, because he probably will end up getting undercut by California, but he wants to try and stay under that 20-second gap for the guys in front of him. So if they come in a bit earlier, then he can try and hold those up as well for Iconex. But I don't know if he's actually just struggling for tyres now at this point or what.
Well, the moment you said that he's going to start pushing, I saw him drain his ERS for the tunnel, so I think he might have hurt you.
Yeah, makes sense.
And yeah, let's see if he can keep Ghost UK off himself and if he can maintain that gap to Energetics. It hasn't gone up by that much anymore. It's about 20 seconds currently. Did make a little mistake there through Rasgas, I think, on the exit, which will definitely not help him. But he is still a second ahead, and I think we just gotta see what the interval is being. It's currently a 20-second gap between Esteban and California, so we keep checking out as Mats has left the session. Not too unpredictable. Yeah, let's see if Esteban can maybe gain a bit of time on the Red Bull, or that California is actually able to make that undercut work.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's starting to push a little bit more of the ERS there through the tunnel, but his lines just seem a little bit off. I don't know if it's the tyre wear at this point, but he's going deep into the final few corners and that's a little bit shallow. I don't know if he might have got picked up a warning on the inside there, but he's not going at 100%, which is understandable around Monaco. You know, you want to get to the end is the main thing. I mean, he's in P5 still at the moment, so they're saying that.
Yeah, it's not maybe the easiest thing. Iconex is actually starting to lose a tiny bit of time here. So those mediums are definitely going off, and you'd expect people to make a pit stop very soon. Iconex in this lap. Yeah, surely you go in this lap. I mean, the only thing you could lose out to if Energetics completely drops his pace of the face of the planet, and then you get held up behind that. That's the only way I can see Iconex not winning this race. But Energetics as it follows. He looks a little bit slower than these two ahead, but still decent pace. And
he's in.
He is in actually. So he is probably going to end up behind Energetics here. Let's see. He goes into the hardest set of tires. That's predictable. And that will give Jordan the lead here. Polipus promoting in P2, and I think Energetics will get P3 as Polipus actually made a bit of a mistake there. Iconex coming out there as Energetics. I think he's going to be just about behind there. Yes, he is. Esteban gets a 3-second time penalty, and that's the point you surely have to start pushing a little bit, as he does get overtaken there by Ghost UK around the outside, but Ghost UK goes straight on. He's into the wall and lost his front wing, and so he can immediately visit the pit lane anyway. That's very important to see. I think that was just completely Ghost UK's fault. Went too deep, blocked up potentially, and yeah, he's gonna have to change that front wing. Esteban, does he have damage or anything? Because I'm wondering. He does look very slow currently.
Not visually.
The way I'm going on board with him right now. He's understeering at every single corner. He's lost a good 5 seconds. There again, like going deep into that corner. He's lost a good 5 seconds to California and keeps losing time there. And is actually getting reeled in by Jamie and Old School as well. So I don't think his car could be damage free. There's gotta be something wrong here.
There's something wrong with it for sure.
I also noticed he's not going completely full throttle, so that's an issue, a separate issue, I think. Potentially pedals related, or I'm not sure if he's actually pedal wheel.
It's sort of like bouncing up and down between full and about 90%.
Yeah, I saw it on the. Usually, for the tunnel you don't lift off, and he was not going full throttle there. There again, he's not quite going full throttle. He's circling more and more the Ferrari and dropping back further and further, and that might cost him a few positions at the end of the race if he doesn't decide to pit. You can pit from now. I did pit on lap 20 myself and was still just about fine. Not very quick, but that was just mostly a skill issue. So we're not gonna talk too much about that. So it is definitely possible to pit onto the mediums and just hope for the best from there onwards. As we said, like, if Esteban pits right now, the 20-second gap is now to about Marcy, right? So
yeah,
at that point, Marcy's gained a lot of time, hits the wall again there, the Ferrari, and he's just struggling a lot for pace and stability here. You know what, Iconix is on the back of Energetic, so let's see if he's going to be impatient and go for the move. He's very close behind actually here. I think he's going to go for it, to the outside. Let's see, does he get the one done? Very deep, hits the wall slightly. Still side by side up the hill. Let's see, you're going to keep it side by side. Energetics backs out there and Iconix is through. Just gotta hope he doesn't have any damage from that. That was a bit of a risky move there on the brakes. But he's managed to make it work, so maybe can't complain too much either.
I don't think he actually touched at all. I think it's just, you know, that tiny little bit of curve that's just on the outside there. I think he just got on the elevation from that. And I think he just avoided the wall.
You know, we have Steban and Old School into the pits. Steban does actually have damage. He's changing his front wing. So that's dropping it quite a ways back. Ghost Recon is still out on the mediums from basically, so I think he pitted on lap 1 or 2. And he is in P6 currently, right behind Jamie Met. And Old School was in this train, and now it's California there right behind. And Ghost Recon is trying to line up a move, but you can just see how difficult it is still.
Iconix is flying. Just watching some of these lines he's taking, I wish I could take those earlier on. The amount of confidence he's showing on those fresh tyres.
Yeah, he's one that's definitely liking this track, I think, and it's shown as he's almost a pit stop ahead of Jordan and Polpus. Will be catching up to very shortly. And yeah, in the meantime, there's a lot of terrain. Ghost Recon, California is going to get held up by this, and it might bring, you know, the likes of Steban and Ghost UK back into this if these guys don't pit very soon. Ghost Recon I expect to pit very soon. Jamie Met could still go on for quite a while, so I have to see if he just going. Just saying that, Jamie Met goes in and Ghost Recon stay out, so who am I talking to? We have a bit of a yellow flag there, I'm not sure, I think it was just Ibble letting people through. Jamie Met's going to go onto the set of the mediums as well. And Solon actually has a wing change as well, so he might be one that's just struggling on his tires and therefore hit the wall. That thing. Yellow flag, more Ibbo, letting people through. Jordan and Polpus. This is going to be the battle that's going to be interesting. Who pits first? These guys are still managing to stay out for now. The gap is huge where you want to pit into, so that's not the issue. There's a 38-second gap from Energetics to Ghost Recon. But who's going to pull the trigger first and try and get ahead of the other? Stay ahead of the other. I'll have to see. Onto the coming laps, you expect him to pit?
I'm not sure when the pit window is for the hards and mediums, to be honest, for them to be perfect towards the end. But what I'm more interested in is actually Iconix just behind them, and whether or not he's going to try and utilise those fresh tyres and fight them, or if I was him, just sit behind, accept that you might not get the best out of these tyres now, but you're essentially a pit stop ahead of these guys. There's no need to try and fight them to gain even more time. Just
yeah, that's what I'd be thinking. I'd think currently you're not losing time to anyone. You know, you're the same pace as these guys, even if you're stuck behind them. You don't really need to do anything here, being Iconix. So you might as well just, you know, take it easy and just sit behind us. Ghost Recon has gone in for another set of mediums. I think that is a first set, so therefore there must be him starting on the hard. I think he did start on the hard, so he has completed it. His mandatory pit stop is Energetics is actually the one that's pitting first, with the top two still staying out here. So if Energetics can gain enough time, and these guys don't immediately react, there's a chance Energetics could get involved in this as well.
Certainly, the undercut is really quite powerful. Yeah, it's a little slide from Iconix.
Basically sideways there, coming out of the right-hander. Very difficult corner, as alluded to before. Energetics coming out of it on those mediums, and if he wants any chance at the podium, he has to make them work quite soon. Let's see if these guys are going to react, or that they're going to try and stay out. Maybe, I mean, maybe they're hoping for a safety car. I'm not too sure. But I have to see if either of these guys is going in this lap? Because that's basically the main question here. Everyone else, I think apart from Marcy, who has gone double mediums, is done with the pit stop anyway in the points. Actually, Jess and Swip are very much there. As Jordan actually goes into the pits, Polpo stays out. So I think Jordan is making the smart call here.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why Podwaz hasn't followed him in there and just covered off Jordan's undercut.
And the only reason I think of this potentially safety car, but if they're not going to come out, then that is the issue. Let's see how much energetics has gained on these mediums. He's a good 7 seconds behind Jordan, and he's definitely closer this time out. I think he's going to end up gaining a good 2 seconds if his tyres don't heat up quite quickly for Jordan. Let's see, Polipus is pushing here though, the ERS quite a way through the tunnel, so the Alfa Romeo has to pit this lap, you think?
Yeah, I mean there's no reason for him to go any longer.
Because UK
He
went,
would be losing time.
Ghost UK went past Esteban, just noticed that. Don't know how that went, Esteban made a mistake, because Ghost Recon actually setting the fastest lap of the race here with a 1:14.0. Shows he has had some pace. Maybe if he joined the lobby in time, there would have been a chance for him to, you know, take a win home or whatever. Polipus is in, and he is probably going to end up being behind Jordan here. I can't see any scenario where he is in front of him.
Yeah, I mean the undercut's just too powerful really. Unless Jordan had a slide somewhere on this lap, but it looks like he's going to have him before turn 1 even.
Yeah, it does look like he's quite comfortably ahead. It's a bit closer than I thought actually. So Energetics has the fastest lap of the race there, but I guess Polipus' tyres still have to warm up as well. And that brings the lead for iConnect still up to 17.5 seconds. And I don't think, with all due respect, I don't think Jordan here is quick enough to bridge that gap in any sort of way.
No, I mean I don't think there's many who could breach that gap. Around Monaco where it's just, you have to be 100% at every corner when you're going quick enough to close that down in the amount of laps left.
Yeah, for that little section from Mirbeau down towards Porsche, he's only gained about his 10th, and he's lost that because of his ERS usage down towards the chicane again. So I don't think the lead is much up for grabs here, as long as iConnect doesn't make any sort of mistakes. And we see it there, fastest lap of the race for the Ferrari driver. And yeah, doing that on the hards, well, you know, Energetics did it on the mediums, about a similar time. I think he has it in his pockets, basically.
Yeah, I actually prefer the hard tyres around here for the most part, other than the last few laps on them, but when those mediums are as fresh as they are, they shouldn't be going slower than an 8-lap-old hard up front, so it really just shows the pace iConnect there.
Yeah, definitely. So, looking down the grid to see if we have any further battles. Ghost UK has been pulling away a little bit from Stevan, with Marcy still to pit. He's still up for P6. I think that mistake has cost him a little bit there, because it might have been challenging California at this point if he didn't manage to hit the wall into Raskas. So that's a bit unfortunate to see for the Alpine. Old School and Ghost Recon haven't been the best of friends today, but they are very close together on track. About a second between them. Ghost Recon showing some decent pace so far. He was anyway. Still in the fast lap briefly before that was destroyed by Energetics and iConnect. See, because he does still have the penalty advantage here, being a second and a half behind, but the penalties being in favor of Ghost Recon, 3 seconds for Old School. So we see Energetics actually setting the fastest lap of the race there. So Ghost Recon just have to fight to stay within that gap, and if they're lucky, they might be able to catch up towards Steban, who also has a 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, Steven and Ghost 72 are back on track next to each other again after Ghost went into the wall trying to get past him before. So, I mean, he managed to undercut. Oh, so they touch again at the same place.
And Ghost UK is going
Ghost
in.
is in. I didn't see him get damage anywhere, but he has got wing change.
Yeah, so he must have had damage, and he's going back onto a fresh set of mediums now, and that's going to promote Ghost Recon up towards potentially it could be a P6 in the end. You know, if he gets Steban and also on penalties, and then Marcy still pits, who I think still has to pit. I will check for you. If the race director actually wants to work, that'd be great. Yeah, he has gone medium so far, as we can see. So he still has to make some sort of pit stop, and still has a penalty as well. So it looks like Ghost Recon, if Old School's quicker than Steban basically, then Ghost Recon could be on for a P6 here.
That'd be really good actually. I mean, to get your way through the field at Monaco isn't particularly easy, and a lot of it has been done through pit stops and whatnot, but still to 7, 8 places he's gone up now, starting from the back without even participating in quali. It's just a case of what could have been if he was here on time.
Yeah, that it's a bit of a shame there for the American. It does look like he's quite comfortable right now. Yeah, and Old School is not looking too slow either. He's gained quite a lot of time actually on Steban. And it could be a very entertaining little scrap if we get there. I think Old School might be trying to get ahead, but who knows?
I'm starting to wonder if Steven potentially has bodywork or floor damage on his car somewhere, because he is just really struggling still, and it's not the front wing.
I'm not too sure. Just
He's just
doesn't look
running
too
wide.
comfortable. Yeah, who knows? Who knows what he's currently cooking up. Polifus has caught back up to Jordan. 5 cents between them. Yeah, Polifus, are you gonna try and still go for the overtake? Energetics as well, by the way. Catch you now, 2 seconds behind these two. You know, are you gonna try to go for the overtake, or are you just gonna settle for that P3?
It's a tough call to make at Monaco. There is only 3 points. There's got a yellow or
Yeah.
go again. But there's only 3 points between a P2 and a P3. You'd
True.
rather have the P2, of course, but at Monaco, the risk of making a move around here for the sake of 3 points when you could drop down a lot more, the drop from P3 down is a lot bigger than the gain you'd get from one place up to P2. So it's a case of whether you want to take the risk, really.
And then, of course, you have to take in the situation, the context here of the situation, because you know, Polifus and Jordan are currently, you know, in a fight with each other for championship. Iconex as well. You know, there might be a bit more of an incentive to go for a move, because you're not gaining 3 points, but you're gaining 6 points. If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So I could see Polifus going for a move, but obviously you want to finish the race, not get any post-race penalties either. So it'd be very interesting to see if he does actually end up. But he does look like the quick one out of the two. Marcy's in for his second pit stop. He's going to come out in P9. If he straps on a set of softs, which I do expect he will do, he may be able to catch back up to the 3 ahead, who have now all bunched up together. And especially with Steban's worrying pace, and yeah, Marcy being on softs. Marcy is still not out of this completely either, as he does get lapped there by Iconex. So I guess fuel won't be an issue. But you know, this is still a bit of an incentive for Marcy to try and push on to these guys up ahead.
Energetics is starting to close in on
Ooh.
Jordan order pose now.
Steban getting a second time penalty, and that's gonna probably drop him back. If Marcy catches up even to P9, definitely to P8 though. And I think that might mean this little group will be a bit sad, because the Ibo, I think, is in the wall.
In the wall, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he's just gonna carry on his way now. Yeah, I think that might mean, you know, if you're sensible, in any of these positions apart from Steban. Steban needs to push obviously to try and get the gap. But if you're old school or Ghost Recon, you might just say, well, I'm kind of guaranteed this position anyway. I'm just going to keep it at it. Ghost Recon is looking very close to old school though. With the pace the American has, I think, and knowing how he usually races, there is a chance he just goes for a move at some point.
Yeah, I mean, he's really tucked up behind these two now. He's got it on penalties, so he doesn't need to. But as you say, oh, yeah, Steven, oh, old school. Ooh. He must have something wrong with the car that's making him go that wide.
Yeah, surely something is wrong for that Ferrari. Just looking, he does race on pads, so there's a little bit of a thing there. It is a bit more difficult. He now is going full throttle again, so it's not an issue anymore. And obviously, I think I just heard a lock up there, so I'm pretty sure just going from his movements as well, I don't think he uses any sort of ABS, which might enhance his maybe going deeper every now and then. He does hit the wall there. That's not going to be ideal. Might have had some damage from that as well, which we might not be able to see. So old school is still on the back here, but I don't think he's aiming to get first. He does lose a lot of traction there in the exit of that final corner.
Nah, I think old school, he's been around a while. He's won a D3 title. He knows what he's doing. He's just got to stay cool behind here. He knows he doesn't need to just stick his nose in somewhere. It's more likely Stephen runs wide again somewhere and he can just slip up the inside if he has to go make the move, but he's not going to be rash about it.
Yeah, definitely not. So we have more yellow flags. I think that's Swip letting people through, or perhaps Jamie. Jamie actually this time. And yeah, just looking up ahead, Poppers is still behind Jordan, with just under 7 laps to go. This, you know, I don't think, like, Jordan is just gonna do his own thing here, knowing him. He's just gonna keep driving and not really worry about what the car behind is doing. Energetics is closing in, but knowing him as well, he's not gonna make any sort of rash moves. So then it just lays it up to Polypus. I don't know. These three are getting very close together. As Ghost Recon slips to the inside of Old School there. And Old School has been passed and is now down to P8 on track. And that's what Ghost Recon, I think, wanted. He can maybe get ahead of Steven as Old School gets a second pin as well. And look at where Marcy is. That's already dropped him back behind the Alfa Romeo. And obviously the professional position he had on Steban as well is now gone. I did see him cut at the start of the race. He did cut the chicane, so maybe he gets himself something removed there. Who knows? But at the time, yeah, it does look like he is down for P9 currently. And Ghost UK is not too far off either. So on fresher tires and not you know, a bit of a slower Ferrari in front helps as well in that scenario. So there's a decent chance here that Old School's going to drop a few positions, unfortunately. Maybe later on. As Ghost Recon has a big moment there. Marcy getting another pin. That will help Old School back up, but look at where the Alfa Romeo is. He's right on the back of him. And with those softs, being only a few laps old, he's going to surely attempt something here.
Yeah, Stephen's causing all sorts of mayhem behind him. I mean, he's within his right
also,
to do so. It's just the nature of the track.
I don't know if you've seen the same, but because of the blue flags here, what we have, as Marcy dives down the inside there, the final corner, and costs himself and Old School damage. What I was gonna say is that iConnect is coming up behind to lap them, and that's why the cars are visually ghosting. But I don't think they're actually ghosting. Which I think may have incented Marcy to go for the move. That's a tough one. This is going to cost Old School a lot because his front wing is completely off. Marcy, I don't think has major damage, at least visually. But that's somewhat ideal for him either, obviously. Losing a lot of time. This goes Recon is going for the move on Steban. Then the inside of the chicane. Surely not. He's gonna make that stick side by side. Keep going. As clean as it possibly. And yeah, got it. As Marcy picked up a 10-second time penalty there, and so did Old School. I'm not too sure what happened between the two of them. So Old School, I think, is just trying to make his way back to the pits. As Marcy is just diving people. This is kind of too much, I can't lie. I know it looks like they're ghosted. They're not. The cars are not ghosted here. And I think, given you had some contact earlier on, you should know that.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the tyre advantage, but around Monaco especially, you can't just send it up the inside of any corner. It really has to be turn one, maybe out the tunnel, and that's about it. And there's a little bit of karma.
I guess that is the karma potentially deserved there. And yeah, he's in the wall out of the race there. And I can't lie, what I've seen there was kind of atrocious. So, yeah, given that he already has quite a few license points, I think there might be something on his way later on. We'll have to see. Go Showcase on the back of Steven. Where have we seen this one before? Steven goes a bit deep for the chicane as well there, and it might decide Go Showcase to go for a move. Looking alright then. Can't quite get anything done.
Yeah, Steven has just been a mobile chicane all race. Gonna, ooh, that's a little look. That's the same thing he done earlier on. He's avoided the wall this time.
He tried it. Respect for trying that, even though it didn't work the first time. Now he has the ERS, but he doesn't have the ERS to defend with, to attack with. Steven has the ERS to defend with, so I don't think he's gonna be able to. Actually, so, Jordan has close up a good 5 seconds to Iconex. Just gonna check if Iconex got any damage, or did he just maybe made a mistake. He was lapping a few cars as well, obviously. Might have not helped. So, yeah, Koshuga is really looking for this move, and understandable, because Steven is dropping so much time. If you compare it to Ghost Recon, he's already 7 seconds up ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much in it. If Ghost 72 does get past this point, he's not going to close the time off to Ghost Recon. Probably better off just sitting in behind and taking a position on penalty.
Yeah, I think that would be the best scenario, but you know, if you have a car that slow in front of you, it's going to frustrate you. As Poltopus is actually alongside Jordan there for second place, cuts the corner and gets a 5-second time penalty.
That brings the Energetics into this.
Yeah, it definitely will. There was no attempt either to give it back, so I think Poltopus is just going to have to try and pull that away. Not sure if he got an illegal overtake for it, but obviously he did cut the corner, and that has penalized him quite a ways. I think with only 2 laps to go, I don't think he's going to be able to get Jordan. If he's very quick, maybe Energetics, but it's a battle between the two of them. I don't think that's the smartest move he could have done there.
Ghost is looking up the inside of Steven. The touch tires, is he going to send it? He does send it.
Oh, just about. To make him through cleanly. Steven tries to keep it up the inside, but has to back out there. That is kind of how you're supposed to race at Monaco, I think. You know, not too much. You can do it. Obviously, it wasn't ideal, but, you know, respect for Ghost there. Leaving enough space for Steven to keep alive. A little bit of contact, obviously. But that is the example we want to see.
It looks like Podpus might be able to get that gap to Energetics. Energetics is out with ERS. Podpus has a little bit to play with, so in the grand scheme of things, it might have been worth it just to send it and just see if he can get the 5-second gap in the end.
Yeah, but in the end, I don't think he's going to get it on Jordan, looking at this.
No.
But it does keep Jordan on his toes, I guess. That he can't mess up, he can't get a penalty. Because then, you know, it's only 2 seconds. So we go on to the final lap. Iconex already went on that. And, he's dominated this race from start to finish. Almost led every lap. A few laps in the pit stop, obviously, where he was a bit behind, but yeah, it's looking very good for Iconex to take this victory home at Monaco. And yeah, he'll be quite happy about that. And he's catching Jordan a little bit, but it's not going to be able to do much there. And yeah, iConnect is going to take this victory home quite easily. Be interesting to see if Polyphus can get this gap on Energetics. It's about 4.5 seconds currently, so it'll be quite close towards the end.
I don't know actually.
I think he has it already. I think he has it.
He has at the moment, just about got it.
Yeah. Just go with iConnect here. And he is going to cross the line as the winner of the Monaco Grand Prix. He's going to win by a good 13-14 seconds here. Because, you know what? Polyphus, if he had another lap, there's a chance he gets this P2 here. But it's going to go to Jordan. Polyphus is P3. Energetics, 32 thousandths. And Polyphus does get the fast lap of the race. So, in a way, it gains an extra point due to it. It's kind of worth it.
It was worth it. So if you want to take anything away from this race, just cut the corner. It'll probably be worth it.
Yeah, Polyphus getting that just about. California's going to come on P5, and it goes Recon already lapped P6, goes 70 UK P7. Steven at PA, the mobile chicane, still playing at 5 points. Then Jamie Jess, who will congratulate on the 10th place she got. Then it's Old School and P11, potentially for removable penalties, I'm not too sure, especially because he cut the chicane completely at some point. And then it is, I want to say it right, I think it was Sweat in P12. And the Game Awards driver today goes Recon. He's driven a pretty decent race. I'm gonna have to say this is, iConnect's to take, because great victory here. He's dominated from start to finish, made the right strategy call to start, got past Jordan when he needed to, and no rash moves anywhere. So yeah, great move, a great race there by iConnect, taking home this win ahead of Jordan. Polyphus gets the fastest lap, and Energetics gets P4 there ahead of California. Goes Recon, goes to UK, then Steban, Jamie, Jess, Old School, Swip, and Ibo being 4 laps down. I think that's still classified, luckily. Marcy, Mats, Serial Killer, Jav, and Roberts all not finishing here today. And that concludes an interesting Monaco Grand Prix, has to be said.
Yeah, I mean, totally dominant from iConnect, similar to what we saw from Polyphus last week. I mean, it could just be a back and forth between absolute dominance between those two. Yeah,
this still means Polyphus remains in the lead with 81 points. It is very close between the two behind there. Jordan is on 79 points, and then it is Polyphus on 70. No. iConnect, I'm sorry, 75 points. So Polyphus 81, Jordan on 79, and iConnect on 75. So 6 points between those three, and that makes for a very tight championship battle, at least at the start.
Yeah, I mean, it's building up to be a good season. I think there are like 6 cars towards the front there. I mean, if iConnect was on the same strategy, any of them could have really had a shot with an undercut or two.
Yeah, definitely. And I would have wondered what would have happened if Ghost Recon was actually at the front from the start, because he looked to actually have some pace there. It's unfortunate to see that didn't come to fruition. I think at that point we're going to wrap it up, though, and I'll be here next time. Hopefully next time Packer will actually be there, so that, Chill can get paid and everything like that. And I think that will be it for today. We'll be at Kota next time out. See you. Goodbye.